Now, moving on, Deputy Minister for Education Barbara Asha AC says headmaster of Eduman DAJHS Robert Sepe, who recorded himself having sex with an SHS student, will face stern disciplinary measures. The Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, has released a statement saying Mr. Sepe has done no wrong since the student he was recorded with is a consenting adult and he did not circulate the video. Mrs. Asha IC, however, says Sepe's image as a head teacher has been tarnished and it will be difficult for him to carry out his duties.
Looking at the image, I mean, as a head teacher, and the image even out there on the social media, I don't think he will even be comfortable to even, probably get to the classroom. I don't think, excuse me to say, anybody who had gone through such an encounter or an experience would even be bold enough to go to the classroom. So we shouldn't try to find excuses, because in the minds of people, we're still thinking that it is a student's teacher, relationship, which we do not encourage. Teacher-student relationship, we do not encourage. So it doesn't matter your age. Somebody can be 20 and still be in school. But whilst we're in school, you are still, a student.
But she's not his student. She's in another school, at senior high school. She's graduated from the school he was a teacher in, and they're having the Ghana National Association of Teachers, NAT, has released a statement, for instance, saying that the man has done no wrong. You still want to see him punished?
Well, not even if it's not by GES, even if it's not by GES, I think that the reputation makes it a little bit complex, like you were saying. If the girl is still a student anyway, so it doesn't matter if the girl is your student or not. But I don't think that, looking at the issue, the teacher himself be comfortable even going back to teach. I believe that it's a very serious, and I sympathize or I empathize with the teacher, because you are thinking that you are having probably a relationship and this girl is not your student, and the girl is 18. You understand? So the law doesn't frown on somebody who is 18 years and is still engaging. But I don't think it's also healthy. Most especially if it was private, that's fine. But in the public domain, it makes it a little bit complex and difficult.
There's some good news now, and anti-tuberculosis drugs to be developed from onions could sooner or later hit the pharmacy shop shelves. It comes on the back of studies that show a type of onion can help fight bacterial resistance to the disease. Researchers, according to media reports, believe antibacterial properties of the Persian shallot could increase effects of existing antibiotic treatment. A Ghanaian scientist, Dr. Cynthia Amening-Dankwa, led a research team whose finding has opened a new page in tuberculosis treatment. On Science and Technology Thursday, we put a spotlight on the Kwame Nkrumah University Science and Technology lecturer and her work.
At the KNUST Faculty of Pharmacy and Pharmaceutical Sciences Cell Culture Laboratory, technologist Prince Dagadu Ochere prepares equipment for ongoing research. Works with Dr. Cynthia Amening-Dankwa, a senior lecturer who is passionate about finding solution to antimicrobial resistance.
Antimicrobial resistance has been described by the WHO as the single greatest challenge in infectious diseases affecting both rich and poor countries. And this is as a result of globalization and trade and other things.
She won a Get Fund scholarship in 2012 to pursue a PhD program at the University College of London School of Pharmacy.
I joined a research group of Professor Simon Gibbons and his main collaborator, Dr. Sanjit Bhatta, at the Institute of Structural and Molecular Biology at Birkbeck University of London. And what we did in the lab was to isolate and characterize compounds that belong to the genus Allium, with common members like garlic, onion, leeks, and chives, and then test these compounds to see whether they have antibacterial activity.
In the continuing study, the team conducted tests on 4 different compounds from the shallots, previously reported to possess antimicrobial properties.
So after working for days and nights in the lab, Our findings were that the compounds we isolated from one of the species, Allium stipitatum, showed antibacterial activity against a panel of gram-positive and gram-negative bacteria, as well as different species of Mycobacterium, including clinical isolates from Mycobacterium tuberculosis.
The study report, published in the journal Scientific Reports, suggests the chemical compounds can be used alongside existing antibiotics.
These are very interesting findings, and we are very much happy about it. But it's still early days yet, because this is just the first step in drug discovery, and we have to move from the bench in drug discovery to drug development and go through the processes of clinical trials before any drug gets to the market.
Let's still watch the news desk on Joy News. My name is Daniel Daze. Now, many Zongo dwellers have high hopes in the Zongo Development Fund set up by the Ministry of Zongo and Inner City Development. Residents of the Kotokraba Zongo in Cape Coast say they will be very disappointed if the ministry is unable to get them jobs and improve their standards of living. On Joy News Agenda today, Richard Kojonyako visits the area in Cape Coast and has come through with this report.
The Kotokraba Zongo sits at the heart of the central business district here in Cape Coast. Like many other Zongos in Cape Coast, they are like slums, poor drainage and sanitary conditions with many poor inhabitants.
I was born here, everything here. I've never traveled before, I'm always here. We need jobs so that the boys and the girls, they will not go in for armed robbery and all sorts of that, you see. That is the
30-year-old Nana Fati has lived here all her life. She laments vehemently about the increasing numbers of unemployed persons here at the Kotokraba Zongo community. Nana Fati is not alone in the challenge unemployment poses. Abakar Dauda, another resident in this Zongo community, shares a similar concern.
There's no work, so I can't go out. And I'm struggling and I'm trying my best to get something to do, but nothing. We are just forcing. But there is no work everywhere. If you take the application, go, there is no work. So we are pleading so that this Zongo development will help us more to get more jobs.
But beyond the provision of jobs for the youth here, the Kotokraba Zongo dwellers have a huge headache in terms of the planning of the community. Many footpaths often lead to the rooms of other people. The haphazard siting of the structures makes it impossible for rescue operations to go on, and when one is seriously sick, no vehicular movement is possible.
We have a developmental problem. Looking at our Zongo community, the way our structures are being built, seriously, they are not nice looking. And aside that too, it's like we have problem with the drainage system. Okay, when our forefathers, our great-grandparents, when they came to settle here, the way they put up their structures, in fact, it is something else. And as a result, we don't have streets within. So should someone fall sick, or maybe in case of any fire outbreak and we are to get fire service, or maybe to get ambulance into the Zongo to rescue or assist the person, it becomes difficult. So I think it's a major challenge.
Ibrahim Mohammed believes beyond the restructuring of the Zongos, brilliant but needy students who are unable to afford tertiary education should get some respite in the Zongo Development Fund.
We have a lot of brilliant students in our communities, in our Zongo communities. And from the look of things, if you look at the Zongo communities, you realize most of our parents, I wouldn't say most of them are very poor. And children who are, would I say, unfortunate, let's say some of these children are unfortunate because financially they find it difficult to pursue further their education.
Central Regional Chief Imam Yusuf Mohammed wants the provision of jobs for the teeming Zongo youth to be high on the agenda of the Zongo and Inner City Development Ministry.
Hembrente, Hemba, Hokasina, no Waku School, Akasakase, Binway University Nazi, Bebre, Mfipi. They
talk about education, they talk about infrastructure, they talk about poor drainage system, and they talk about accessibility. When someone is even sick, how to even get a person out on the street before the person is carried to the hospital, or if there is a fire outbreak or a disaster. From the Kotokraba Zongo community, my name is Richard Kwejonya for JoyNews.